Good morning, 10th grade. Sorry about this deal. This is part 2 of today's lesson, or you can do it tomorrow. I don't give a care. I somehow didn't look at my last week's schedule, and when I studied at home, I got ready for today's lesson, and I didn't realize that it overlapped. So some of those answers you got twice. There should be no excuse to get those wrong. But yes, today I would like to go on to page 31. After I recorded, I'll tell you how this worked. I come here this morning, I quickly got busy and recorded. And after I was recorded, I went back into my desk and opened up my book, and there I noticed that I was supposed to go to page 31 today. And so I started over and studied, and that's where I am now. If you look on page 23 in your book, I think it's 23. Yeah, 23 and 24 actually. But I put this here, over here on this part. Earlier you had learned about this little triangle. We called him a delta y, and delta x equals m, which is your slope. And so here it gives you just another step. These are on this page, on page 23. So you can look at the page. I just put them on the board because they are very crucial in understanding this. So here you have y, you put subtract b and subtract 0 from the x. And then the next formula that you will use, this is what the formulas you will use to do these other problems. M is y, subtract b with x on the bottom. And then you have mx equals y, subtract b, and brings you down to the formula of y mx plus b, which you're familiar with this. So this is just telling you how to change this over into this formula. So now, if you go back to page 23, 1140, or 1140, that is actually on page 24. Your answer is x plus 6. No, x plus y equals 6. And what you're wanting to do is you have to work this problem so that y is by itself. Well, it's very easy. You will just simply subtract the y, well, here. You just simply mean the x on the other side of the equation. So you bring the x over here, you have negative x plus 6. So this should be your first answer. Y equals, in the book, negative x plus 6. You see, you just, when you brought him across the equal sign, made him a negative. And then n equals negative 1. And then you had to figure that there by basic, really, this here is just simply this answer. Here, I'll stop right here. Once you've gotten that part, you've got the answer. Because for your n, you move this one down, and for your b, you'll move this one down. Okay, so once you get A's answer, you just break it apart and put that in B and C's answer. And this is negative 1, well, it's x. Okay, drop the x, throw the x, but that means negative 1. And then this here is positive 6. Okay, let's do 42, 1142. You just drop onto the cross, straight across to the second column. You have negative x equals y plus 7. Now, you will get the y. You will need to isolate the y. And so the way you do it, you always have to have a positive y. You can say, oh, I'll just move y over here. Well, that makes him negative. That can't work, and I'll move the x over here. So I have positive x. No, the y has to remain positive. So you just take the x and put him over here. Or no, the 7, sorry, and put him with the x. So now, what you have is negative 7. Oh no, down here, negative x and negative 7. You understand how you isolated the y? This is the same equation down here, but you just rewrote it. And again, m is negative 1, and then your b is your negative 7. Just dropped it down. I did a couple more that were just a little bit tougher, or was a little different practice. Again, you have to use these formulas to figure this out again. So on 1144, on the next page, you had x plus 2y equals 3. Well, to isolate the y, you know how you have to divide whatever it's by. So you got to divide everything by 2 to get y by himself. So you got 2x and 3 over 2. I changed this here. You can see what I did here in brown. I changed the color. Well, now you're still not completely done. You got the y separated, but you still got to get the x over here. So now you see I have the y is equals x negative x2 plus 3 over 2. And then when I moved it down to the m, instead of the x, I replaced the x with a 1. Negative 1, 2. And they do keep the negative sign with the number. I know sometimes we'll move it to the center. They have not done that. I don't think it makes any difference in your answer, but I'm just telling you, they keep the negative sign with the top number, or whichever one it is. And then, of course, your b is 3 over 2. You bring down for your b. Yeah, I think that's all I have for that part. We'll go to the next part here in the grafting. And so I put a bunch of these on and I grafted them over here. Is what I did. Move this so you can see the graft. Okay, if you go to 1152, the first one that you need to graft, you have to graft these equations, which you've done them before. Y equals x plus 1. You always start with your b number. Your b is plus 1, so you go over here in your graph, you start at 0, you go up plus 1, right there. And now for your x, you go, that's 1 again, okay? You always go right 1, up 1. Your x tells you to go up 1, that's 1. And it means to go, you always go right and up. So your next one is right here. And so your 2 points is 0 and 1, and 1 and 2 are the 2 points that are plotted. You can draw a line through there. Now, for the 1157, you have y equals negative 3x negative 4. So again, you look at your last number, negative 4, and you come down negative 4, 1157. Whoa. Let me see here. Hang on, let me do, yeah, we'll do this one while we're on it. That's the blue one here. So I made another mark here. This is 0 right here, another black mark. So you come down 4. Because it's negative 4, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you go negative x, 3x, you go over 1, and you go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Now this is confusing. I first thought I would go over 3 and go up 1. No, that's not correct, at least according to the book. When I checked it out in the book, I had mine wrong. You go over 1 and you go up 3. So the negative goes with the x, and then you went up 3. It doesn't quite make sense, but that's the way the book shows it. While we're doing right here, let's do the 1.160, and that's y 5x over 4 plus 1. So if you start out with the plus 1 again, so I went plus 1 from, this is my 0 mark, I go plus 1, and then I have a fraction. So you need to know which one you go up 5 and which one you go over 4. The x is where you go up 5. The x goes up 5. So we go 1, 2, 3. You start out from the 1, wherever you made your dot, the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you come to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And put your dot there. That's your line. I missed one here somewhere. I'm not sure what happened. We look at 1152, I think, is go up 1. No, I did that one. I should go to 1155. I missed. That's the one I missed. It's negative 1, 2x. So you come down, it's a green line here. You drop down 1, negative 1, and you start out there, and you go up 2 over 1. 2, 1. And that puts your point right here. So I have a 1.1 is where this dot is, and this is 0, -1 for here. I'm thinking that my book is wrong. Is it ever okay to think that the book is wrong? This -3x -4 is wrong, according to the way I diagrammed that one. But I know that the book says this is the way because I had it wrong. To me, I went 4, and then I should have gone up 1 and over 3. But I don't know. I'll let it. That's the way the book says. You see here when we went 2 up, I went 2 up over 1 for this one here. And I know that 1155 is right because I went 2 up over 1. I can check that to be sure. 1155, yes. I went down 1, then I went up 2 and right 1. So this one is correct, this 2x -1. So I'm still confused about this -3. -3. Maybe not though. Come to think about it, is the negative part puts me on this side, and where this here went right, the negative took me left. So maybe it's right. Take it back. Take my answer back. I got one more up here. Did I do this one for you? 1175. No, I did not do any of those top ones. Let's talk about those top ones. You will need to turn back to your other work, and I will show you the answers for that other work, because you'll have to get your answers from there to do these other ones. And so if you do 1175, your answer was 2x plus 2/3. And that was a funny one. I thought, how am I going to do 2/3? I'm not used to it. Well, it's no problem. If I make the black line across here, make this 0, this is like a different graph up here, like I had down here. So here's 0, and I go up 2/3. So I don't quite go up to the line. It's just a little bit past half. I might have put my mark up there just a plenty far, I'm not sure. But it's just 2/3 of the block. You got 2/3, so you just go 2/3. It's not a whole one. It's not a whole thing. And then you got 2x. Now remember, you are at 2/3, so you'll have to go up. This is 1 1/3, this is 2 1/3. So you see I got a portion. I didn't go all the way up. It's getting fine here for as big as my graph is. And then I come over 1. The x brought me over 1. And drew my line. 1172, I guess I'm jumping backwards here. I did 1175 first. Now I'm going 1172. You come -2. Come down from 0 here. I got 1, 2. Maybe my thing. And now I go up 7 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Better change color. That's my dot right there, and right here, I draw my line. Always go up on the top, go over on the bottom, or the second number. Yeah, I will show you those answers, or maybe I should go on over to page 31, or 29 and 30. Actually, it starts on the bottom of 29, goes over to 30. Let me get you that before I show you those other answers back here. You should be right there. I think you can see that. The thing that you want to remember is A plus B equals C, and you always have -A. So you will put B underneath A and B underneath C to work these problems. Read your instructions. I won't waste your time for doing that. So I'll just work a few problems. 11.76, the first one for A, you have A, this is a 2. Forget about your X and your Y, throw them out of the equation. So you have -2, So for your A's answer, A is -2, and put your B underneath it. It's 2/3, -2/3. For your B answer, you put your 6 on top, and again put your B on bottom. 6 on top, B on bottom, makes you 3, and if you work, you can work this one out, makes you a 2. So your B's answer is 2. Very easy. Keep this though in mind, A is always negative, B goes under A, B goes under C, and work them out if you can. Here's the next one, 5x plus 6y equals 24. You can change this here into 5 with 6 underneath. Now remember, you got to make this a negative, -5 over 6. And you're going to put 6 underneath 24. For B, put 6 underneath 24, it equals out to 4. Very easy. This here, if you don't go too fast here, you'll speed. You get a ticket. And for 1.84, you have fractions, which is no problem, but the reason I put this one up is watch out. You see, these were positive here. You have a negative here. So when you brought down, you always make A negative. A has always got to be negative, so I make him negative. And then I have a negative here, so this is a negative as well. -1.5 and 2.5, and I'd accept that answer, but you can make that into a whole number, which you double this. This is 3, and this is 5. So a proper answer in fraction would be 3/5. Because both of them are negative, you wind up with a positive answer. Don't question me on that one too much. That's correct. And of course, last time when you did the negative, if I get on the right side here, you had the -2.5. You put him on the bottom over 100. That equals -40. One negative sign makes you a negative, and a positive makes you 140 negative. For tomorrow, I'm going to put this on for today's assignment or tomorrow's assignment, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow we're going to finish and then do the first self-test, or what do they call them in your books? Self-test 1, yeah. So tomorrow, for Tuesday, we will do the next page, and then our next couple pages and the self-test.